Hey guys, my name's Joseph Lucero of Powerlifting Technique, and today we're going to talk about if rack pulls are a good thing for powerlifters. So, what is a rack pull? A rack pull is where you take the bar from an elevated position in a power rack and you pull it to lockout to help overload your deadlift. Now, lots of powerlifters love the rack pull. They use them in their programming. I see it constantly. Sumo, conventional deadlifters. But just because everyone does it doesn't mean it's the right lift for you. So in this video, we'll continue to talk about the rack pull, its advantages, disadvantages, and by the very end of the video, I'll let you know if I believe the rack pull is a good lift for powerlifters and if it makes the most sense for you. So again, what is a rack pull? You take the bar, you load your weight, but when you load it, you use the pins to set it higher or lower. And more times than not, it's based on your sticking point. The sticking point is where you get stuck in your lift. It's where the lift starts to stick and you need to find a way to get through the lift. Now, it makes sense because there's other variations of like the squat and bench that do the same thing where you're elevated and you work a specific range of motion. So with the rack pull, the whole idea is that you're trying to figure out how to improve your lift, whether it's sticking point or not, and how to overload it to master the movement. And a lot of times lifters will go knees or above, and they might rack pull 600, 700, 800 pounds. But the problem is that because they're in a higher position, they tend to overload their deadlift so much that it's almost not as realistic as their normal deadlift. Like I've seen friends who've done 700 or 800 pounds, but they can barely do 500 off the floor. Now, what causes that? What causes that is when you do an elevated deadlift from the rack, a couple things can occur. The first thing is that you can fix your position to where you're in a very advantageous position to lift more weight. So what does that mean? That means if you are doing an elevated deadlift off the rack, essentially a rack pull that's higher, you can maybe lean. So when you start the lift, it's almost like the weight's in your lap. And now you're taller, your posture's taller. So it makes the lift a lot easier. Another thing that happens is because you're in the rack, the ends of the barbell are exposed. So then when you start lifting, the ends of the barbell start to bend and it causes the bar to come up a little bit easier. And if you pull with that bend, that transition to the top is a lot easier. So although the rack pull can help you lift a lot more weight and you can get used to a lot more weight, there's a pro and a con to it. The pro is you learn how to have better grip and you have to have a lot of strength to hold the weight up. But then at the same time, the lift isn't as authentic as you would feel off the floor. So another thing people can do instead of perhaps a rack pull that's similar to it, they can do like a block pull. And what that is instead of doing it in the rack, you get these boxes or you can get these cushion like crash pads. I don't know if you can see it off the floor, but you can elevate them and put your deadlift bar on top so that when you do the deadlift, the ends of the bar are flat, so the plates are flat, and it's a little bit more of an authentic kind of feel to the deadlift besides the aggressive bend. So with all these things included, the bend of the bar, the rack being taller, the enhanced grip, enhanced back strength, but then overloading the deadlift too much, being a strength coach for multiple years, 15 years plus, and having been a powerlifter for a very long time, I'm here to tell you that I do not like the rack pull. I don't like how advantageous it is. I don't like how much the bend can occur in the rack. I also think it can kind of ruin bars in a way. So I do not like the rack pull. And if you're someone who has the ability, maybe do a block pull. If you want to learn how to overload your deadlift, you should do a reverse band deadlift. Hang the bands from the top of the power rack, attach them to the bar. So as you lift up, the band gets shorter, you get less slack, and then you feel heavier weight at the top. But let's say you only have a rack and you have to work on a specific range of motion of your lift, and you think that the rack pull could still be a good lift for you. I would recommend that if you have to do a rack pull for some reason, I would always do it about an inch or lower below the knee. The reason why, because now you have to lean over the bar more, which is more of a natural deadlift position. It translates a lot more to a natural deadlift because of that lean. All in all, I'm not a rack pull fan. I think you can do reverse band deadlifts to overload, or even block pulls to overload, or work specific positions of your deadlift. Or maybe if you're injured, block pulls would be good to help you work a specific range of motion. But if you had to do a rack pull and you wanted it to translate to your deadlift, I would definitely recommend an inch below the knee to make it more of an authentic position to be realistic for your deadlift. So if you like this video, click the subscribe button, like it, leave a comment below, read a description. That could be a little surprise in there for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and share this video with someone else. We are powerliftingtechnique.com. My name's Joseph Lucero, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.